It's Sunday, August 19th, 2001, in Jacksonville, Florida at 2 p.m., and it is hotter than a jalapeno's armpit. But I can see the field from my car in the parking lot, and there's about 80 women there that day at the tryouts, and they're every shape, color, size, and flavor, and I can see they're already warming up, stretching, sprinting, and definitely sweating. And I think, there's no way I'm getting out of this air-conditioned car. But I go. But I notice something very strange. When I walk up, these 80 women are not talking to each other. And I can tell that they're just focused on their own game. And they're sizing each other up, strutting, glaring. You see, these 80 women were competing to be one of the first ever women's professional full tackle football team for Jacksonville, Florida, the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. And I'm here today because I always wanted to play football as a little girl. I remember on Saturday afternoons, my mom would be ironing clothes and she'd have college football on in the background, and she'd say, "That looks like so much fun. I want to be down there and put on the shoulder pads and the helmet and hit people." What she didn't realize is that her words were inspiring me, and her dream became my dream. There's only one problem. There were no football teams for little girls. So the closest I got to playing football was 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? That's right, I was a cheerleader. But I carried that dream into my adult life. And I can remember my husband and I would be at the Jacksonville Jaguars games, and I would echo those same words of my mother. "That looks like so much fun. I want to put on the shoulder pads and the helmet and hit people." And he would just ignore me. One Sunday afternoon in August, I'm sitting there and I'm putting together a scrapbook on the floor. Of course, we have NFL on in the background and the TV. And my husband's reading the Sunday paper when he asked me, "Jan, did you know that a women's football team is coming to Jacksonville, Florida?" And I pop up and I say, "You're kidding me." "No, but like with the shoulder pads and hitting? Yeah. Like with the football helmet and tackling? Yeah. Just in the NFL? Yeah." Woo! And I go into this dreamlike state, and I visualize myself practicing for the tryouts. I've got a pump iron to get strong, run the 40-yard dash. Oh, and I've got to learn the rules. Oh, my goodness. What about game day? Game day, I can see myself running through the tunnel. There's the smoke and the lights. The crowd's cheering. I've got my shoulder pads on and my helmet. I've got that black stuff under my eyes. And as I came out of this fantasy, I thought, I've got to do this. Honey, when are the tryouts? Soon. Real soon. Like how soon? Next year, next month, next week? Today. What? Today. In 2 hours. And just like that, my dream vanished. It's fine. I wasn't really in shape to play football anyway. But my husband encouraged me. And I gave him 100 reasons why this was a very bad idea. I'm 5'2". I'm 33 years old. I don't know how to throw a football. I don't know how to catch a football. I don't know all the rules. And let's face it, the latest exercise I had been doing was Zumba and a little jazzercise. But he encouraged me to go. And he challenges me, and he says, "Honey, what's the worst thing that can happen if you go to the tryouts?" And I think, well, I don't make the team. And then he says, what's the worst thing that can happen if you don't go to the tryouts? And he knew that I would regret it for the rest of my entire life. And then I remembered these words from my mother. Once an opportunity is gone, it's gone forever. So I go. I grab my gym clothes, my old softball cleats, and my husband sends me out the door with an entire igloo cooler full of water and a case of Gatorade. I don't know how much he thinks I can drink in 2 hours. So I'm driving to the tryouts, and I think, you know what? I promised him I would go to the tryouts. I never said I'd get out of the car. But I'm here, so why not? What do I have to lose? Just my dignity. So I walked up, and you should see these women. There is one woman. She's got to be 6'2". I'll call her Sasquatch. And then there's this wiry little athlete. I mean, she's so fit, she's got to be an acrobat. Oh, one woman is so fast, I think she's probably an Olympic sprinter. And I'm thinking, I sure could use a six-pack right now. But I stay, and the tryouts begin. And first, we do push-ups. I hate push-ups. I have not done a real push-up since 7th grade field day. And then we do real sit-ups. I mean, the real thing, like not the fake little crunches we do in jazzercise. And then we do the running and catching exercise. Of course, I missed the ball. And then we do agility drills, jumping drills, crawling drills, and quite frankly, I pretty much perform at the same level, the bottom. But then comes the 40-yard dash. And I think, I've failed at everything else. This is my chance. So I'm getting pumped up. My adrenaline's running strong. I watch the other athletes go, and it's my turn. And the whistle blows, and I explode. My legs going faster than they ever have before. In fact, I almost lose my balance, but I cross the finish line. And I think, I have done great. I crushed it. I feel awesome. I know my performance was spectacular. And then I heard these words. You are the weakest link. Is that the best you can do? Why do you even try? And those words crushed me. They humiliated me, and they defeated me. And in that moment, in that pain, it brought back some childhood memories. You see, I grew up in an athletic family, but I didn't get all the athletic ability. My dad was an all-round athlete, my mother a tennis pro, my older sister an all-star in almost every sport, and my younger sister was an award-winning gymnast. And me, I was the cheerleader. So I tried out for sports, but I never really got to play. They let me play on the church league softball team, but they always put me out in right field where no one ever hits the ball. So I always felt left out, excluded. That brought back another memory. I remember as a child, my mother, the preacher's wife, and she was leading a youth group in a damp basement in a small church in South Georgia. And she had all the kids in a circle, and she explains the rules. It was hot potato or something, and they start to play. And then she notices Cindy in the corner. You know, the one that's a little awkward and never quite fit in. She doesn't play. But my mother stops the game. She walks up to Cindy. She puts her arms around her, and she leads her to the circle. And she says, "Now Cindy's here. We can all play." And the game began. So at those tryouts that day, I made a choice. And I thought, what do I have? What can I contribute to the team? And then I thought about that cooler full of water and Gatorade. So I went up to a woman on the sidelines, and I introduced myself, and I shook her hand, and I offered her a bottle of water. And I introduced myself to the next woman, and so on, until I'd given out all of the water and the Gatorade in my entire cooler. And because I knew their names, I started cheering them on and applauding. "Hey, nice hands, Jackie, nice hands. Good run, Shelley, good run." And even when they messed up, I encouraged them. "Shireen, you have got this, girl. You know you've got it. Susan, just shake it off. You're just warming up. You got it, girl." So I acknowledged those who were doing great, but also those who were struggling in a place where no one was saying those words. And something happened at the Jacksonville-Dixie Blues tryouts that day, something I didn't expect. Behavior is contagious, and all the women copied me. And so now they were cheering for each other and applauding and high-fiving and laughing together. And half an hour ago, the only laughter I heard was at someone's expense. If someone fell, no one helped her up. But now it was, "Come on back, Karen, come on back, you can take my spot, you can try again, you got it." And everyone was cheering everyone else on and up. And we were performing and playing better as a result. You see, I wasn't their coach or their leader, or even someone they knew. But when I stepped onto that field that day, I used what I had. An igloo cooler full of water and some words of encouragement. And the group was transformed. And the coach noticed. In fact, he said, "Jan, you know what? We could use a person like you on our team." Because he recognized that what I had was just as valuable as Sasquatch's size, Brantley's reflexes, or even Kim's speed. That the words of encouragement and acknowledgement were just as valuable as that athletic skill. And that day, I became a football player. In playing for the Jacksonville-Dixie Blues on special teams, I didn't score any touchdowns. I didn't make any earth-shattering plays. In fact, I wasn't even on the field that much. But I was on the sidelines cheering on my teammates, and we performed better because of it. In fact, we became the AFC champions in our inaugural year. So now, as a business coach, a speaker, and a trainer, I have dedicated my life to encouraging people through my words. And not just at work, but at the grocery store, at the gym, at home. And folks, I'm not talking about giving someone a blue ribbon just for showing up or condoning a lack of effort. I'm talking about real encouragement. Looking someone in the eye, saying their name, letting them know that you truly believe that they can and will perform better. And maybe you were encouraged all of your life. And if so, it's now your responsibility to pass those words on to others. When my mom encouraged Cindy that day, when my husband encouraged me to go to the tryouts, I realized that just a simple gesture, sharing a bottle of water, or a kind word, you can do it, that anyone could be included. If one woman can change 80 competitors into teammates in 1 hour. What could we all do? What could you do? Because you don't have to have a genetic predisposition or to go to practice or even go to the gym. You just start today with what you have. So if you want to bring about significant transformation in the performance and the morale of the people around you, your company, your work, your organization, your school, your family, or your community, the playbook is easy, and the opportunities are endless. A word of encouragement is just a simple gesture, and that behavior is contagious. So if you cheer everyone on and up every day, everywhere, through the power of encouragement, your words, my words, our words will transform the world.